I remember before when I started like dating white guys, I would be like, oh my god, no, I'm scared that they might think like
if you're with
I'm there for the money, not for them.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm DiMuzio.
I'm Therese Tiangco.
And I made a video called Why It's Hard for White Guys to Date in the Philippines. And today we're gonna do an updated version of that, because you know what, times changed since I did a lot of dating in the Philippines, and it's actually getting a lot easier
Lucky you, then.
for white guys to date in the Philippines.
Abuse it.
And we're going to talk about the reasons why it's getting a lot easier and how the culture has been changing, the dating scene has been changing, and you know, all of that kind of stuff. So this is why it's getting easier for white guys to date in the Philippines.
What made you say that it's easier?
So when I did most of my dating in the Philippines, that was back about 6 to 7 years ago. And during that time, there were no dating apps. There was Tinder. Literally like, there's no Tinder, no Bumble, no whatever happened, none of that stuff. The only way that you could really meet girls was to go out. And I don't drink personally. I mean, I probably have like 12 drinks a year max. I've never been drunk in my life. So going to clubs, going to bars, that's not something that I really do. So where do you go to meet girls, right?
I don't know. It's so weird because like here in the Philippines, if you approach a girl randomly, she's gonna be like, what the heck? Who's this weirdo? Yeah. It's not like it's not a usual thing. Maybe in the States it is.
Because if you've got a normal job, you could meet girls at that job. Or if you're in school going to college, well, you'd meet girls in college. But if you're just like a guy who lives here and is doing, you know, kind of freelance work, performing or whatever, like I was, or just taking a vacation or whatever, like where do you meet girls? And that was really difficult to meet the kind of girls that I would be a good match for, or would be a good match for me. So I realized, and I talked about in my other video, there are kind of 3 social classes in the Philippines. I mean, this is not putting anyone down or building anyone up, but there are 3 main social classes in the Philippines, and they're more well defined or easier to spot than in, say, America, where I'm from. And that is, there's a lower class, a middle class, and a higher class. And these are economic classes. I'm not saying this is a low class person that they don't have class. I'm just saying this is just economically where they are at in life currently. So the lower class, they would generally live in like a shanty, more of the ghettos. What's the Filipino term for
Squatters.
this? Yeah, so basically that. Let's call this the lower class. Slums. So you've got the middle class, and they're more like the working class. They're the people that are, you know, working at call centers, that have like regular jobs. They're making enough money to get by, but they're not like, they're still living a bit probably paycheck to paycheck. And then you have, and that's actually the best social class I found as a foreigner or whatever to meet girls, because those girls are generally well educated, you know, they're hardworking,
less independent.
Yes, exactly, and they're really like great girls to meet, but they're also the hardest to find because they don't have a lot of extra money to go out to bars and clubs and just hang out all the time.
They're busy working.
They're working hard, exactly. It was hard,
but
especially.
Now there's Tinder for that.
Exactly. So those girls have time to be on a dating app. They don't have time to like go out and spend all their money, but they have time to be on a dating app. And then obviously let's talk about quickly the higher class girls. Those are like the rich girls that they probably don't have much of a job, that their parents pay for everything, and that they're kind of a bit like princesses. Not to say that they're necessarily bad or good, but that's kind of their lifestyle. And so a lot of those girls, especially in the past.
Yeah, there's a stigma against it.
Stigma.
If you're dating a white guy, that you might be like a which means like, you know, like a whore, you know? Like, I remember before when I started like dating white guys, I would be like, oh my god, no, I'm scared that they might think like
if you're with
I'm there for the money, not for them.
Yeah.
That's why I would like wear like glasses or like try to hide my face because I was scared that I might bump into like my friend or someone I know. But now I feel like the stigma has kind of disappeared already.
It actually has started disappearing really fast. There used to be this stigma, and I'm talking about used to as little as like 5 years ago. There was more of a stigma around Filipina dating a foreigner, especially from like the higher classes. They were like, oh, I don't want to be seen as a lower class girl who's like using a foreigner for his money, so I don't want to be with a white guy because people will look at me differently. But that's kind of changing, and one big reason is actually that a lot of the biggest celebrities in the Philippines, the it girls are starting to date foreigners. And so
you see it on social media, and then with their like Europeans or Americans, and I guess they're very influential, so we get influenced and be like, okay, I guess it's actually interesting dating a foreigner, and they got cute babies, some of them, you know.
Yeah, when you see girls like Selene or Georgina and these kind of the it girls of the Philippines with foreigners, marrying foreigners, and suddenly, you know, people of all social classes kind of go, okay, well, if the it girls will be with foreigners and post pictures, then it's cool for me too. Everybody wants to be fashionable, you know?
Yeah, I guess people are more like open-minded because like the multicultural exchange, rather than like, oh, Filipino, then here they meet somebody who has a different, you know, culture and tradition. They'll be like, oh, okay, it's interesting to you know, discover.
It's changing very fast. So I think it's getting easier for foreigners to date in the Philippines, which if you're a foreigner like me, is pretty awesome. I
mean, there's also like a lot of celebrities who are half Filipino, which I know you don't believe in that, but you know, like I guess their thinking is that, okay, if I'm Pinoy and then he's foreign, he's white, most of the time, like your child could be like a celebrity or has the looks of, you know, a celebrity.
Those celebrities. So those kind of things are definitely influencing more Filipinos to date foreigners. So back to the dating apps aspect, is the dating apps thing has just completely changed the dating scene in the Philippines, especially I think even almost more so when it comes to being a foreigner, because you know it's much easier to get on an app and swipe left or right and then instantly have your pick of a lot of girls to choose from that you can go on dates with and get to know than it is just being a foreigner in a foreign country, not sure where to go, not sure how to get around. And I mean, it could actually be a great way of seeing the country if you're a guy who just shows up in the Philippines.
Find a tour guide on Tinder.
Yeah, basically find a tour guide on Tinder, and maybe you find somebody you'll want to spend the rest of your life with as well. So I think that dating apps are whatever you want to make them. They can be hookups, they can be places to make business connections, they can be anything.
Friends, you know?
Yeah.
Or like making your travel here better. But like I feel like you, since you white guys, some of you like know like, oh, okay, or like we're more like popular here in the Philippines, or like in the Philippines in comparison to like where you guys from, because you get, apparently someone told me that they get more matches here. It was like for a white guy. It was surprising.
I would definitely say that you get more matches here. I would say that it's easier than in the US, I would say. But it also depends on the city. For instance, I did a lot of Tinder dating in New York City. And that was where I kind of discovered Tinder, and I went on tons of dates in New York City. And actually it was pretty easy there to meet really eligible girls and go on dates. So I feel like big cities in general are just easier places versus like if you went to the province here and you got on Tinder, I'm not guessing you'd have nearly as much luck as if you were in Manila and were on Tinder, you know?
Maybe less of your type, you know?
I think it's more of like of the place and the number of people that are there.
That's true.
And just
Manila.
In Manila, it's going to be much easier. In the provinces, again, you might run into stigmas where people are like, oh shoot, there's not that many people in this city. So do I really want to show my face and be one of the people that all of my next door neighbors are matching with?
It's so awkward.
Maybe not.
But then you guys might abuse it. So you're like, okay, since I have a lot of matches here, let me be a fuckboy and stuff like that.
I think that definitely like.
But there are a lot of foreigners that are boys here.
Tinder can totally be abused. So actually, I'm gonna make another video, dating tips for Filipinas. If you're on dating apps and you want to meet a certain kind of guy, I'm gonna give some tips as to things that I think you could probably
and how
do.
You could be not just another girl, but become
exactly.
like, you know, the special other.
Exactly.
Okay. I'll watch that.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys.